Hello everyone and welcome to Blaugrana Everything and welcome back to the channel and a match review as we look at a thriller of a game at Cuitat de Valencia as the final score was Levante 2 FC Barcelona 3. Low-key disappointed we couldn't do another Forza Barca. Get it? 4. Anyway, the win of course sees Barcelona keep hold of second place, though they stay 12 points behind Real Madrid in what was a high-tempo match full of drama. Levante were awarded no less than 3 penalties on the night, only managing to score 2, and of course there was a late winner from none other than Luuk De Jong. Okay, fine, Luuk De Jong. So in this video we'll quickly look at the tactical setup of the teams, then we'll talk about the negatives and positives from the game, as well as pick the man of the match. No prizes for guessing who it is. Quick reminder to hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video so you can stay up to date with all the content on this channel. Trying to get to 2K and we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Let's go ahead and look at the tactical setup from both teams. Levante set up with the following players in a 5-3-2 formation. You know, not too dissimilar from the Frankfurt kind of setup in play, but yeah, the starting formation was 5-3-2. Barcelona, on the other hand, set up in the usual 4-3-3 with Ter Stegen in goals, Alves, Araujo, Garcia, and Dauba in that back four. Gerard Piqué out injured, or at least being rested, I think. Frankie De Jong and Busquets started alongside each other, but no Pedri this time. We saw Nico Gonzalez get a start after almost a month without starting. And up front, of course, it was the front three of Torres, Aubameyang, and Dembele. Now, in the pre-match presser, Xavi stressed that there are plenty of similarities between how Levante and Eintracht Frankfurt set up. Much like the match against Frankfurt, Barcelona had some parallels in their performances, and as a result that's bled through to my negatives and positives, as you will see, starting with my negatives. My first negative was the very slow start we saw from Barca. In fact, calling it a slow start is a bit of an understatement because for the entirety of that first half, Barcelona just did not look switched on. To make a comparison with another match I watched earlier, it was kind of like that Liverpool-Manchester City game in how Liverpool were nowhere to be found really in that first half and just hanging on. And it was the same here for Barcelona. They were hanging on in the first half. Morales could have scored from what would have been a ridiculous run, but for Ter Stegen, and I thought in the first half someone was very good, Eric Garcia. Nonetheless, the rest of Barcelona's team just weren't there, and it took a lot of last-ditch interventions from Eric Garcia, as I mentioned earlier, and also Ronald Araujo. Our centre-backs during that first half, together with Ter Stegen, kept us in the game. My second negative was the shakiness with defending counter-attacks. Now this one, of course, I pointed out in my last match review for the Frankfurt game, and it was worse this time around because unlike in the Frankfurt match where Dani Alves couldn't play, so it was Araujo playing out wide, in this game it was Alves, and he's just not comfortable dealing with quick transitions. I should just point out, Morales knew every moment he got the ball he just has to attack Alves, and so did Son. And you know, the first penalty came from just that, Dani Alves failing to keep track of where Son was, sticking out a hand when he shouldn't have. You know, you don't do that in the penalty box. It can easily get called, and it was called, and honestly speaking, I've got no objections over that being called as a penalty. So Barcelona definitely struggled with dealing with those quick transitions from Levante. They were being pressed very well in midfield, and whenever they turned the ball over, their defenders just never seemed to be in the correct starting position, and they relied on a lot of, you know, their pace and their reading of the game to be able to make last-ditch interceptions. My third and final negative is just that overall, FC Barcelona failed to impose themselves in this match. We just have a quick look at the stats from this match. 11 shots for Levante to Barcelona's 14, 6 shots on target for Levante to Barca's 7, and the margins are not that much, despite the fact that Barca had 64% possession. They just were not able to impose themselves in this game. Like, you know, we should have been having twice the amount of shots that Levante have, considering the fact we had twice as much of the ball than they did. Anywho, Barca just couldn't impose themselves on this game, and that's, I think, an obvious negative to point out, and probably to put it in a way that Xavi himself said, this was just not a good performance by Barcelona. Anywho, moving on from there, I will now talk positives And once again, like the match against Frankfurt, my first positive was the good impact from the subs generally. I say generally because, there was one substitute in particular who just had like the opposite effect you would have wanted. That was, of course, Clément Lenglet. He came on and he gave away a penalty. And there's just this clumsiness in him which has refused to go away. I thought last season it just came about because he was, playing in a system that exposed him to a lot of danger. But this time around, he did it again. But anywho, the other subs though, Pedri, Gavi, Luuk De Jong, all of them had a positive impact on this game, each of them either scoring or assisting a goal. This is my third time pointing this out. Barcelona has got good options on the bench to be able to bring on to change a game for the better. And this time around, it was those three coming on and having that impact. My second and final positive was, of course, that once again, we did not panic. We didn't panic after going 1-0 down. We didn't panic after the score came to 2-2. I mean, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen saved the penalty. He wouldn't have been able to do that had he panicked. And I think him saving that penalty was actually quite pivotal in this game because the energy he brought from saving that penalty is kind of what kick-started Barcelona in that second half. And for about 20 minutes after Gavi and Pedri came on, Levante just couldn't live with Barca. And Barca probably should have scored more than 2 goals that they scored in that time. Alrighty then. We're just left with picking our man of the match, and we had quite a few contenders this time around. Pedri, like I had pointed out earlier, Gavi, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, and of course, Luuk De Jong. Ter Stegen, I should probably just take a moment here to say he actually lost out just by a bit this time around because, to be honest, if not for Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, Barcelona could have been 3-0 down before even the 60th minute of this game. He saved from Morales in that first half, very, very big save. And of course, he saved the penalty from Roger Martí. Had he not made those 2 saves, Barca are 3-0 down, without a doubt. Huge respect to Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. However, I ultimately went with the Dutch GOAT, Luuk De Goat, yes, Luuk De Jong, one of 3 substitutes who really came on to devastating effect. He came up with the goods once again to bail out Barcelona. And he did so in a high pressure situation, another need to win kind of situation, another cannot afford to drop points kind of situation. So I'll understand if he's not everyone's man of the match, like I just explained. Ter Stegen is definitely a good shout, and so is Pedri. But for me, I think Luuk De Jong was a worthy recipient of the Blaugrana Everything Man of the Match award. That does it for my match review. What are your thoughts on the game? Who was your man of the match? Let me know in the comments. We have the match against Frankfurt next up on Thursday night. How do you think we will fare in that game? Tell me in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day and Forza Barca.